while you try to get yourself all situated.
Look at us, some yappers.
Oh, Ink Fair.
Oh, we are streaming.
Yep.
Yeah, we are
I
so
see.
back.
Well, back on both IPL, and I do see your Discord feed. Hey, we're live. You might have heard me to talk to the producer. Hey, we're back. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of the break there. Just to give you guys a picture of what was going on. We were just knocked off the air for a bit, so we'll just give you our best explanation as to what we can infer happened in that scenario. If you're looking at the scoreboard, hold on. This way. This way. There we go. There we go. We got it. Geomancy got the push started. They broke it down to 50. They broke it down to 50 seconds remaining left with them still pushing up the plat. I think we may have. Yep, we're gonna get the highlights for you. But the most I believe we got leading up to this point was 50 seconds remaining. They were able to take 3 members out of Legence. You can probably infer what happened in either 50 seconds or possibly a KO there. What happened there? Either way, the result is going to be a 2-0 finish there. Geomancy moves on to winners bracket round 2. Losers, Legence down to losers. They're not eliminated yet. This is a double elimination tournament. So that's where we stand. And I wish we could have brought you the entire game. We wish we could have brought you the game in its entirety. But sometimes some of this stuff happens here, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is it's just the way it is. In the term of our generation, it be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is good though. We're able to get things back up and running for y'all as we head towards our next matchup, which should be ready sometime soon. But that is winners round, or that was our match on winners bracket round 1. I know Dapple Productions has another stream there, but we are way cooler than Dapple Productions, which is something I've been insisting on. And Dapple Productions, or at least the people casting on Dapple Productions, mind you, insist otherwise. But you know what? If you're on this stream, I'm sure you might have some weight in this. You probably agree. You agree.
You know what's gonna end up happening here is we're just gonna yank you off stage the minute they hear you saying that. So hopefully we get that all. So hopefully you don't get yanked off stage later on or
never.
Man. So by the way, we got our 2 teams coming up here. You do get the preview of the maps. We'll give you the notes here. Mako TC, Museum Clams, and Mahi zones. But before we even get to those maps, we got to talk about the 2 teams that we're going to have in front of your screen here. Simply Paradise versus La KTM. I believe both of these teams, to my knowledge, are pickups here. So but we do have we may have some recognizable names for those who are around. So gonna be excited to see how these 2 teams play out. Again, this is winner bracket round 2. La KTM winning over Liela 2-0 in the previous round.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is the Hayden I'm thinking of. This may be access denied Hayden, which is certainly a name I remember. And in fact, Jelly on the side of Simply Paradise is a Oceania region player. So lots love the representation there. They're actually from Manta Black. So, I mean, I already see Div 1 player in Hayden. Lots of high-level teams here, which is what I was expecting. I mean, this is the last chance qualifier. You better make a move from right now. But, man, I mean, no better place to do it. And I told you, it's the camera. It's just going to move over and over. I'm going to, like...
we're gonna need you to tape that webcam down. We didn't see any part of that, but yeah, no. So we do have some representation you mentioned from Oceania and many other teams on the board. So gonna be excited to see how both these teams go right at it. And if we again, we're gonna kick off the first map here. Mako Mart TC coming up here soon. And well, Nito, while you're getting all your stuff situated away here, I think it's going to be very safe to say, with the fact that again a lot of the maps here are going to be pretty common across board, so a lot of teams should be well practiced into it. Going to be here to see how everybody plays this map accordingly. We take a look at the weapons right away here. I believe it is going to be like ATM on the Bravo side as well. None of it too surprising, but this Royal Tenebral, I'm going to be curious to see if that can give value.
And if anything, it's going to be a lot of a lot of zone, I would say zone control in spot zones, but the one thing I love about Tenebrella is how commanding it is, just strolling down the map. I mean, that's a lot of pain it's putting out by itself. What I'm also interested in is the custom E-liter scope on the side of like ATM, because that means beacons, and I want to see how they put these beacons to good use. I didn't quite get a look on the the build from the custom E-liter player, but do hope there's some sub power up in there, because I'm expecting something fast to come out of like ATM, especially a lot of jumps there to come out of like ATM.
That's gonna be the intriguing thing we're gonna see. It's actually not just a Sorrel Umbrella from Simply Paradise. How does KTM take advantage of the custom E leader? But right away though, they're gonna have to play a little bit of defense. Excuse me, as Simply Paradise able to break through that first checkpoint, no problem there. Mox throws probably a few bombs in their direction. It is gonna be the second checkpoint. This is gonna be a very hotly contested second checkpoint. Here, good. If KTM is able to rebound nicely, which they are able to, Goji and another member in Simply Paradise are just trying to fight. This might be a little bit bold, but it may build by themselves the space that they need. But it is going to be 2 down by the end of it. Push should be stalled here soon. Okay, it will definitely be solved. 37 points remaining. Second checkpoint still up here for KTM.
And that's why I sometimes just absolutely love high-level gameplays, because they have such a great understanding of the weapons. And just to pull out something as silly-looking as that, you know how that Brella is going to work, and you know how that Brella is going to move. So you use it to your advantage. You just stick yourself right next to a wall. And Moxier knows how to use this Octobrush. Going to start to put it to good use. There's already 2 people aware of the presence of that Octobrush. Does at least get a trade before they go down, but now it's KTM's time to show off what they can do with their weapons. Nice use of the the range blaster, on the side of ATM, and just how much they've changed within these last few minutes. They're already this close to taking the lead. And a Kraken roller being very aggressive there on the side of ATM, enough to get them the lead, and another triple.
Yeah, another triple already used up, and the cooler also there to still be as aggressive as they can if they want to keep this push sustained. There, Aphrodite is also gonna be throwing out that wave breaker, trying to see if they can find any members of Simply Paradise that's flying a little too close, which they are able to. I believe the third checkpoint was also cleared out here, so this is gonna be a bit of a brawl right close to the finish line. And KTM is stopped where they stand. Mox should be able to punish this jump here from Aphrodite as well. They will go down for their efforts, but that's a critical hold there from Simply Paradise. Could have gotten way out of control, but KTM punches back with an even better push.
Wow, that was very scary there for Simply Paradise. I mean, we were looking at pretty much a KO. I mean, that is just a KO, no way around it. But the KTM doing so well here, keeping Simply Paradise back and on the back foot here with how aggressive they can be. I mean, I talked about the custom mean leader and beacons, but now I want to talk about that Kraken a little bit more, just because of how much utility it gets out of it. But so far, it's still KTM's game. For a second here, Simply Paradise starting to bring a bit of the fight there. Goji proving to be very dangerous with that Tenebrella, but still at least gets 1 pick. But it's still KTM who holds on to the lead, and still anybody's tower here until Simply Paradise gets a few players on it.
Yeah, the big thing we need to see from Simply Paradise is just being able to weaponize not just their weapons, but also the special that comes out of it. Expect good cooler usage, and then hopefully a Zuka pick that helps swings it the other direction. Mox also trying to do their part with the Auto Brush. They're gonna punish another Aphrodite jump. Again, KTM trying to be very opportunistic as much as they can to see if they can punish Simply Paradise each time. It is going to be a trade of 1-for-1 on both sides. Will still favor KTM in any sense of the term. And this tower is still kind of pushy here from Simply Paradise. They are able to take 2 members out, no problem there. Throwing out the wall, kind of in an odd angle there from of course, our name West Coast. But they are approaching the second checkpoint. They need to clear this. More importantly, they may have an opportunity to do so. They take 2 members out here. Nito, it's a delayed 3 down, and Simply Paradise might be able to respond.
Oh, now it's a delayed wipe. That range blaster went down as you were saying that. But now it's 30 seconds left on the clock. Simply Paradise has the opportunity to reverse it here, but it's Asta on the shot in the back. On the back there, takes out Goji. KTM saves their lead. That was close to being dangerous for KTM, but luckily they do have a few players who can do the same thing as what they're trying to get, or what Simply Paradise is trying to get Mox to do. Play as a sort of sneaky skirmisher type player, but ATM says, hey, we can do that too. Protects the lead, and now Simply Paradise has 1 more push, and they're going to be heading into overtime.
Heading into overtime right now, Zuka and Kraken at the ready. This Kraken could actually just be a GG Kraken here. They're able to clear everybody off out of the tower, and yes, they will be able to. I was wondering what the equivalent to the GG Strikes was going to be. It's the GG Kraken. It plays very well. No contest from Simply Paradise. La KTM takes game 1 here in round 2 of winners.
Well, that's a new one. GG Kraken. I hope I get used to that, and I do like how much honestly like ATM is using that Kraken, because they're proving that Kraken can be used for just about anything. You want to be as aggressive as possible, go ahead and send a Kraken to enemy lines. You want to be able to seal the deal there, just use the Kraken on the tower. I mean, like ATM has such a great understanding of their, not only their weapons but the kits, and that's why I'm seeing them do so well here.
I love just the fact that they're able to take full advantage of just the range blasters range, along with the wave breaker, kind of just the way it's synergized. Yes, we do get to see Aphrodite's jumps gain heavily punished, but also it's Aphrodite that's able to get a few key picks that allow them to bring it home to that 6-point remain. You also talk about the Kraken. I feel like the Kraken's almost the unsung hero. We didn't put many eyes on the Kraken throughout that, but the Kraken just built up in a way it provided so much value for La KTM, and it doesn't necessarily show on the scoreboard, of course, because we're all focused on points remaining. But that Kraken was just weaponized to perfection, at least from our gauge out of it.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is, I said it already, but this is a team that has such a great understanding of their weapon kits, and not only that, but what kind of situation they're in, to where they're using those specials exactly when they need them and exactly when they would like to get the best out of him. So it's no wonder that La KTM's push lasted longer than what Simply Paradise was able to put up as we head into that next match, which, correct me if I'm wrong,
Museum Clams.
Museum Clams. No, there is no such thing as museum zones in Ba Sing Se.
You know, in an alternate world, there could have been museum zones, but here, no, it's museum clans, of course. Match point for La KTM, as we are still in the best of 3s. Gonna be excited to see if there are any changes, if there are any, but it looks like there's gonna be none right away from Simply Paradise. Actually, I think both teams is sticking to their same comps from game 1. Just gonna see if they can run it back with their style, with the weapons that they're dishing out. So I'm gonna be curious to see how the execution plays here, Nito.
Yeah, no, I mean, both teams, actually, I saw the Snipe Rider from Simply Player that's already come out with the cooler. And I see Goji actually coming out with the Tenderbrella on the right side, so they already have that push sort of planned out. Of course, they are not going to go all guns blazing yet, because La KTM may have been anticipating that. They already had 3 players on that left side, and they quickly did away with what Simply Paradise was coming up with. But La KTM already sort of sneaking their way up past, or close up to that ramp. Simply Paradise is ready for what might come next. But here comes that Kraken we were talking about earlier. Already 1 pick. Can they make it 2? 1 player on the top of that spinner may make it difficult, but ultimately has to back up. 2 picks now for La KTM. They do have actually more than enough clams. They're at 21 clams. They've got enough for a push. Will Simply Paradise let them in?
The question is if Simply Paradise will let them in, trying to weaponize that Tenderbrella just to give them a shield to work with there. They get a nice pick onto the Zuka, and that's 2 right away from West Coast. They're now able to snuff out Proto there. They are able to drive the rest of La KTM back into mid, and then having to force the reset on their offense once more. But they're gonna go down on top of it, and that opening from Simply Paradise balloons into 3 down from La KTM. Not only was their offense shut down, they now have to respawn on defense. Their clam economy has effectively disappeared where it stands, and Simply Paradise are looking to see if they can get a better push of their own. They might be able to here soon. This is another 3 down, but they're having to deal with a Kraken from Bake as well. This is all sorts of madness, but they will get the score in, and it will be the 1+2 so far. There are a lot more clans that are going to be thrown in there by the end of that. 1+5 is the scoreboard, and scoreline, excuse me. La KTM at least holds on defense. We were talking about maybe a few moments ago, Nito, that La KTM will get a push of their own. No, it's Simply Paradise this time.
Wow, okay, and I didn't actually consider how well Simply Paradise's comp was going to work for clams on Museum, because of how much coverage they have with their weapons. I mean, I'm talking about literal and paint coverage, because you have a Tenderbrella. You've already shut down half of that spinner, so good luck getting past that. Simply Paradise has more than enough to cover their own spinner, and not only that, they have more than enough to make their own pushes with their weapons alone. They don't even need this specials in theory. So Simply Paradise has all the ingredients they need. I'm not surprised they didn't change up their comp and now with at least half past the match to go. Proto is looking very closely there at another clamp opening, but goes down. Benjamin stops it. Still someone next to that block. Still a few more left at that block, but they didn't get the second power clam in. There are now at 80 remaining, unless someone's able to sneak one by.
The tricky thing there that KTM had to deal with, or excuse me, Simply Paradise first, was that push wasn't really a big push either. It just could have gone so much worse if KTM scored in that scenario. But KTM were able to break it down to just the one and done push, at least cutting down the deficit. But Simply Paradise was able to get so much more out of it, and I believe they do have that free claim in the back, but nobody's going to be there to really jump that one. They're just going to keep this defense covered as much as possible. Really force KTM to be pushed back a bit, and Porto can't. No, there's nobody is going to be alive by the end of it, but they're not going to be able to cash in on this one. They're going to be just a bit too late here from Goji. I'd imagine that Simply Paradise is going to do is try to force KTM in essence lock them out into their own base. Mox is getting some value again, taking out Aphrodite once more. It is going to be 2 down. Mox is still lurking through, but that opening should be gone. And they did break it home. The 30 points remain. Happened in an instant. You blink and you miss it. That lead extends even further here, Nito.
I mean, if anyone's going to keep KTM back on, or at least on the back foot, it's going to be Mox because of how much of a threat Mox poses with that weapon alone, and just with the threat of being able to sneak around enemy lines there. But KTM may have one more push in them. They do have one more push in them. As to doing a bit of clam juggling, goes down, but gets the power clam. And do they have enough to respond with? Aphrodite is the only one left at the enemy spinner. Can they get themselves through? Yes, they do. They do have a few more clams in. But does the rest of the team have a few more clams in? It's only Proto and what I believe is a Zap that has already respawned. As to they're right in the middle, but they still have a power clam, so this may go into overtime. But Simply Paradise holding on very well here.
So the thing that KTM has to do is now repeat the exact same thing they just did about a few moments ago. Is see if they can do the exact same thing. They do lose a shot, but they have 2 power clams available. But then again, the Zuga's the only special they have that's online. They have to pretty much fight within range, and they're trying to see if they can find the opening. Mox does go down, but the Kraken needs to help build out the space, which Baki is trying to make that one happen. They're able to take 2 out. Is that power clam in at all? Doesn't look like it whatsoever. Where the power clamp, they broke it through just at the nick of time. How did that even happen? The 52 gals is also going to go down on top of it. This is a 2-for-2 trade. They just need to throw clamps in to extend this push, but this push is done. Literally the nick of time, and still not enough by the end of it. We do go to game 3. Simply Paradise ties up the set.
I know this has not much to do with the match itself, but gosh, I gotta admit, I love the guts on this E-leader. Just willing to send it down enemy spinner, try to get a few more clams in. Unfortunately, though, still not enough for the KTM to get the win there, as Simply Paradise takes this to game 3. But I mean, what more can we say? I talked about this earlier. Their weapon comps alone are enough for them to make huge pushes like that, and especially when they need it the most. This is I believe is their defense there. We see Asta and I believe Bake on their team. 2 players going down, and then we at a few minutes later, I think it was another one from the block that gets taken out by the sniper rider. I mean, this again, their weapons alone just perfect. It works out so well, and of course their understanding of their weapons works out to even better, to the point where it's a complete wash for Simply Paradise. The KTM takes it to overtime, but it's not enough.
Not enough, and Simply Paradise pretty much understood the assignment there, what they needed to do. KTM trying to build up the space for their Kraken to help assist for some of those pushes. No success this go around. It was pretty much well played. So we go to the 3rd game now. It's Mahi Zones. I was about to say Mako Zones for some reason, but no, it's Mahi Zones. There. So of course, if those who are familiar with the map expands past 61 points. as well. So it's going to be intriguing to see how both teams play. Don't be surprised here, Nito, if both teams opt to just keep the same weapons they had. It's going to be, we saw it from the last game. They just decided, all right, we're just going to run with the same style of comp that we had. Yep. Okay, there is a change.
Whoa.
It's just a flex change, though. It's just the custom E-leader to the regular E-leader this time with their Wavebreaker and Ink Mine.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I mean, that gives area protection just by the threat of the mine alone. And of course, that mine ever blows up, even if it blows up by itself, that's still more pain control that you have on your side. And with a map that starts small, like Mako Zones, or see, I made a same mistake too. But my zones, you do need as much pain control as you can get, but it looks like Simply Paradise is going to be starting off with the control here.
Yeah, and that's right now, Simply Paradise is just trying to replicate the exact familiar style, just trying to throw a little bit of mayhem using the Zuka, also with the assist, which is able to take out Bake from the back. But that's, from all that being said and done, they built themselves just enough space, at least force the water level to drop. Now this is where things can get a little tricky here. By the way, also the CRB is also the other flex back for KTM. I also just recognized, so they're having a different Kraken user on top of it. It's going to be intriguing to see how Simply Paradise is able to keep this up. They do have a mixture of aggression and a mixture of painting with the sniper that they may be able to sustain this for a little bit longer. Simply Paradise was put on the penalty points for only a few seconds. They're looking to see if they can keep this push sustained.
Alright, so Mox here is still trying to hold back Proto, and it's not enough for them to be, and it's actually not Proto, it's going to be Aphrodite that goes down, but Simply Paradise. Notice that Mox isn't already going for the zone as soon as they get that pick. They're still trying to lay the groundwork there, throw a few bombs, get some more paint down. It's still any fight that they can win because they know, or Simply Paradise knows they can let the zone drop a few points. Ultimately, they're going to be the one getting it back. And the other drop is going to be from that E-leader that drops into the water there. But Simply Paradise getting past 50 remaining. KTM still has yet to find that response, but Simply Paradise also doing so well by their, individually.
One of those cases where I think they're just trying to reset into position, then just goes a little too far to the right, then just falls off the map. It's a little unfortunate when it happens, but I get the idea there, as they were able to take 3 members out of Simply Paradise, and Aphrodite actually gets another pick. So Aphrodite, also the other member with that range blaster, trying to weaponize their range, landing some critical indirects and direct shots as well towards Simply Paradise, which has caused Simply Paradise to retreat again. We call Aphrodite's name every time. Another pick going on that right-hand side in Simply Paradise's POV. So it's good. So they're gonna have to force themselves most likely to the left, having to respect it each time, and they're finding some good value there as the Zuka takes out Bake as well, and another Zuka trade. Goji going down on top of it thanks to Asta, and it is still Simply Paradise at least getting the zones back. They needed to put KTM in the penalty points so that they can at least keep their lead. So with the neutrals kind of training out here, Nito, this could still be a pretty close finish even with 2 minutes left to go.
No, yeah, this is going to be a race that goes to the finish line here, as both teams still looking to get the best out of each other. Mox goes for the dive, actually gets 3 players start to go down for Simply Paradise. KTM has a few penalty points, but those are going to go down very quickly here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that's basically out, but Simply Paradise looking for the response here. And this is a position that Simply Paradise hasn't been in for a while in this matchup, but certainly knowing that they can get out of, especially with 1 pick on Proto. This is where I want to see if things start to snowball from here. Unfortunately not. It might just be not. The answer might just be no, because Mox goes down. In fact, 2 players going down on both sides, but Simply Paradise continues to hold on to the zone. Now they've gotten themselves, actually they're trying to get themselves out of the penalty points here.
Yeah, but the big thing there that I reacted to, they actually did lose the lead by just 1 mere point. They did take 2 members out, but it was just a second too late. That was what that's what I instantly noted there was, KTM was able to get the lead flipped, but there is a Zuka from the other side. You're gonna love those long-range Zuka shots, just able to take 2 right in that cluster, and it is putting Simply Paradise now in that position where they've gotten the zones back. And again, Mox has a special. They can afford to be really aggressive with that Zipcaster. They can help it. Asa trying to fire Zuka shots from just range or just from the heavens effectively, but the rest of the team is able to find 2 members on top of it. This is a trade of zones on both ends here, Nito. Be ready to see which team gets the zones last.
Oh my goodness, 30 seconds left, and I feel like we're gonna get a lot more. But, I mean, maybe not. KTM looks very comfortable here. But I know as a commentator, as soon as I say anything like that, things can go south very quickly for the KTM. So we see Mox trying to get a pick with the Zipcaster, does get a pick with the Zipcaster just before jumping out. Aphrodite looking for a crack of it, almost goes out of bounds, but it's still Simply Paradise who holds on to control the zone. This could be going into overtime unless KTM has anything to say about it within these last few seconds. Not enough. This game's going to overtime. Goji in a little bit of trouble on the top of your screen there, but it's going to be very close. Maybe not. It's still anything. It's still. Oh my! There's no words. No, KTM holds on.
There is exactly no words because this is almost like KTM trying to throw out as much pain as they can in that zone in a furious attempt there to stop Simply Paradise from getting hit back, and it was literally inches away from Simply Paradise just getting it all the way home in OT. That's what I got a little concerned about, but it's also at the same time understanding the assignment of, all right, we got to force neutral. We got to make sure that they don't get a chance to come back on us in OT. They could have not cut that any more close, but like KTM can breathe a sigh of relief there, Nito, with that finish.
I'm breathing a sigh of relief, dude. I feel like if I went any further, I'm going to lose. Goodness, that... I knew it was going to go to overtime, and I knew at some point either someone loses lead or someone wins, but like who is going to lose the lead and who wins was the question. And I don't know, I've tried to find the words to say, but everything's happening so fast that the way both of these teams were playing, I'm not surprised it went fast. I mean, both of these teams are willing to just throw caution to the air, but goodness, it paid off very well for ATM.
yeah, I think everything just happened so fast, and I don't blame you at all for just having to capture what was all transpiring at the end. And I was trying to get everything afloat. Most of the things I was paying attention to is what was literally going to be the big difference here is we do get to see the last 10 seconds. That's when the Aphrodite almost running themselves into the water there as the Kraken, and we saw Simply Paradise able to chunk that one home. As we both know, not able to get that home with about 7 penalty points left in the tank. But by the end of it, KTM just needed to get enough members up. It's really as simple as that, because any chance to put that zone in neutral, and that overtime time is just gonna tick and tick. It was almost panic time in a sense for Simply Paradise. But by the end of it, with everything that we processed there, Nito, it was a very even match. But KTM moves on.
KTM moves on indeed. But man, I thought about this in the middle of the match, and I kind of wanted to point it out at some point. Simply Paradise, it sounds very vague, but Simply Paradise didn't care. I saw the E-leader going into enemy territory. I saw the Zipcaster just sending it all the way across the map. Simply Paradise just didn't care, and to some extent, it actually did work out very well for him, especially on clams on Museum. But ultimately, KTM just knows that we play possessive, we play zone control. If we just control ourselves and we control territory, Simply Paradise has no answers.
It's a classic case when you're dealing with an even matchup. It's a case of, we saw from all 3 maps there too, was especially with the first one was Mako I believe it was Mako TC if I'm not mistaken. There in Museum Clams was the second map. It was almost evenly matched across the board. There wasn't really you can't really pinpoint what really changed anything. Maybe the custom E-leader from Bake that just got so much value out of the Kraken or whatnot, but it felt like it was so evenly matched. It really just boiled down to is critical moments where you're able to take full advantage of a 2 or 3 down situation and then try to continue that aggression as much as you could. KTM understood that assignment, as I noted before. Simply Paradise, I got the idea that they were trying to do style-wise. It just went a bit short. So that's at least my conclusion on that read there, Nito. KTM's on to winners bracket round 3. Loser bracket Simply Paradise goes into. We do have our next matchup that is going to be available here. We're just going to try to hop into it when we have the lobby details, which, by the way, I believe if everything's all set up, yes, it is. It's Henlo Fan Club and Facade.
So quick. That's so quick. Send it to the link. Pretty cool. If I do say so myself. But Henlo Fan Club, I mean, there is one name struck out to me very quickly here, and it's Len, who I should note is a... his Osmosis is a DivX champion. Just saying. I like it.
This is literally just a collection of different members from Hypernova, of course, Len from Osmosis, rounding out that group. So, yeah, again, more pickups for them, and then of course Facade, which for all your Ludi plugs, they played they're in Div 1. They're just having to iron out their finals out there. So again, this should be a very high powered, very fast paced matchup. Is gonna be my read on this too. So just everybody just keep your eyes open, eyes glued to the screen. Well, not literally there. As we do get our map list here, Hagglefish Zones is gonna be the lead off here, and we enter best of 5 now.
And one thing Blaster fans will want to watch out for is Len, obviously. I mean, Len plays the Blaster, and actually, I remember playing against Len when last season when they were with Dumbo IHOP Division 3. So it seems to be working out for them. They're in Division X, so I would say it's working out pretty dang good. But it's worth noting the rest of Henlo Fan Club, which, like you said, is a mix mash of lots of players. A mix little pickup, if you want to call it a project, or I don't know. It's been called pickups, been called projects.
Pickups.
Whatever. You're a team.
Yes.
But
yeah, go on. Sorry.
It's a team. It's a collection of 4 players playing Splatoon 3 for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I mean, by definition, they are a team that are playing Splatoon 3 in 20XX Last Chance qualifiers. There too. They're all playing for that one. But yeah, we are about
streamed on IPL.
Yes, that's streamed here. So we are about to be queuing in here right out of the way as both teams are ready to go. Again, your team here is going to be Henlo Fan Club, going to be on the Alpha side. Of course, Bravo side will be Facade. Weapon choice. Okay, I think I have an idea who Len is based on that lineup there. We are going to have not necessarily the custom range blaster. Sometimes you'll see that, but no, it's going to be the custom blaster with your triple splashdown in play. And then, of course, a Neo Splash appearance from Henlo Fan Club. That's at least what I know right away here, Nito.
I like that custom blaster pick. That triple splashdown does so well in capturing a lot of turf in a very short amount of time. But I know your read was fast-paced gameplay. These are the comps for it. I mean, we see a lot of shooter weapons coming out from both sides. I see a Neo Splash. So that might actually be some more special heavy, or at least some Tri-Strike spam we might see on the side of Henlo Fan Club. Facade on their end, more of a conventional comp. I say conventional just because it is. We do see a shot and a snipe rider. But as we say that, Facade already now got a delayed triple on the side of Henlo Fan Club. Almost a delayed wipe. Synapse are in a little bit of trouble, but still going to be Facade who takes the lead here with minute into the game.
Minute into the game, and as you know, there too, it's just gonna be the early lead there.
Ooh.
Zuga shot gets 2. Okay, then it is a full weapon on top as well. The triple splash one had to even shut down the Zuka, but that's gonna be a sustained push on top of it. Henlo Fan Club are gonna be on the wrong side of the respawn timers there, as they're already halfway through the points remaining. It is gonna be happy, and the rest of Facade just trying to move their way up on this one. They're gonna need to find critical picks or even weaponize the triple ink strikes here, which they are gonna be using right now, trying to throw it, possibly just throwing it into the zone just to see if they can give themselves some paint to work with. There's Hag, by the way, with the Wavebreaker, finds a direct shot into Marauder, which I believe could be Len there, as it is gonna be 10 points remaining. Nito, this could be the first game going to Facade here in a hurry there, especially if they lose their big painter. As the Marauder's still looking in, triple splashdown flips the zone the other direction. There was a lot to cover there, but Facade takes it home to 7 points remaining, 93 points captured.
Oh my goodness, that was scary. I mean, Facade starts it off with a wipeout on the side for Henlo Fan Club, and then all of a sudden, I look back and it's 7 points remaining. So now Facade has themselves in a similar position to where Henlo Fan Club has themselves in a position Facade was in earlier. But now they're actually playing a little bit more, I don't want to say slow, but they're definitely more, I almost want to call it zone defense, almost in the literal, in the football sense, because they have people covering specific parts of the map, making sure Facade doesn't get a drop anywhere. But Facade has enough drops for them to take back control of the zone. Here's the triple splashdown from Marauder/Len, who actually goes down there. 2 players going down on both sides. Force Facade getting back to work very quickly here. I'm not surprised. Facade is very aggressive, and it almost seems like anytime they can move up can be very dangerous for Hello Fan Club. Except for that one time where Swizzy goes down on the left side of your screen there.
What both teams kind of have in spades here is painting. 52 gals kind of equal each other out. You do have a Neo Splash, which is just gonna be a trip strike farming machine. There, you also have the shot, which can be a little bit more aggressive with the Zuka. Both teams also dishing out sniper, so it's gonna be as equal as you can possibly get. The key thing though is, of course, that the blasters to see if they can get so much value. It's almost similar comp archetype wise too. So it's gonna really boil down to not just the zones last, but also can Facade keep up this lead on as well? Because the range blaster has able to get so much value, excuse me, out of the Wavebreaker in the combination of their main weapon there. But again, keep an eye on the fact that Hello Fan Club can still dish out a lot of pain, so any ground loss, and Hello Fan Club can wrestle that one back, especially with that triple splashdown and the Neo Splash they had in tow. As I called out both of them, and they both went down. So ignore that for a second. It is going to be the zones being neutralized. 1 minute left to go on the clock here. Two for two trade. Facade has the zone. Nito.
Facade holding on to the zone for now, but it might actually want to say it might not last long, but it might still last even further because Facade had a few. Actually, Hello Fan Club had one player down, so that move up from the Neo Splash was a little risky for them now. What that pick means for Facade is that Hello Fan Club does not have access to those trip strikes that they had earlier. But there's still a few players going down for Hello Fan Club, but the lead's not going down. Facade takes the win.
Yeah, right in the last second there, we saw the 2 down, but it just came in too late because too late there. Facade just threw everything into the zone, recognizing, all right, penalty points are about to be gone. All you need to do is just play as defensive as you can. Facade winning game 1, and of course, ultimately took the lead and never looked back, especially off the back of the Zuka double from the side that we saw there earlier. From my reading, I'm having to figure out how that name reads out there. So bear with me on this one. Yeah, this was the Zuka double that ultimately also enabled it. They get the one fateful shot, and they do recognize the second members on the canopy, so just fire it in that general direction helped a lot, and there you go. That was the triple smash on to help neutralize it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, with the kill cam there, I believe that was a quad, if I wasn't mistaken, on top of it.
Yeah, it was a quad because they had 3 players going down. But Hello Fan Club had 3 players going down. Land attempts the triple splashdown, does get it out, so they do get a trade, but that is a wipe ultimately for Hello Fan Club. Facade able to take the advantage of that fight, but I don't know. Clips like those are what remind me of one of my biggest talking points when it comes to meta weapons and what's in the meta. And it's like, anyone can play meta, but only a few can play meta very well there. And I think that's a pretty good example, just knowing what that Inkzuka does and what the trajectory is and what how it shoots is a very key point in how meta can be taken to its full potential.
And that's the big thing too, is if you can play the meta, how do you weaponize it, as you know, to your fullest potential and just get the most value out of it? The Zuka was a great example, by the way. Just getting the double. What I thought was a double turned out to be the quad there, and that just enabled Facade to keep that zone for a much longer amount of time. What at least Hello Fan Club had going for them was they were basically almost similar-ish, not exactly weapon-wise, so they did have almost the same amount of pain as they could with Facade, but what it really ultimately boils down to is, can they get the value with the other weapons that they had in tow? Mako TC, by the way, is going to be game 2, which we're already about to be queuing in here. The more we talk about how this game plays out. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they do swap out the Neo Splash, which they just did. In fact, there's going to be 2 weapon changes for Hello Fan Club. Other side, I believe, is going to be the same weapon, so Hello Fan Club has 2 different weapons on the board.
Okay, Tower Control Mako, I can see that stamp being a huge factor in this game, especially with how the Kraken played in the previous time we saw a Mako match, which was zones. But I mean, I can see this stamp being very dangerous for Facade. If Hello Fan Club can work with that stamp and make things even more difficult, possibly even have Marauder or the shot or signups with the shot play alongside that Wiper and stamp, that could be very dangerous pair up for Facade. But Facade currently holding on to the tower here, gets 1 player down. Actually, both teams going down to 2 players, but Facade will get to that first checkpoint, but not with a bit of resistance from Hello Fan Club.
Hello Fan Club is going to have the right amount of resistance needed there to make sure Fasado has to think twice there before trying to push even further, but they will try to keep as much ground as they can towards Hello Fan Club's side, and that's really all it's going to be at the stage. So again, we saw that we called up the same Zuka. Can they weaponize Valley out of this one? No, it doesn't look like it quite yet, which may be a window of opportunity there, excuse me, for Hello Fan Club to see if they can strike through. It is going to be Marauder, which, by the way, Marauder also flexing over to the Vanilla Blaster with that bubble. So look to see if that bubble can also help their cause with this push. It's a I feel like Nito, if my read on this comp is correct, this is a very not zone specific, TC specific comp for Mako that Hello Fan Club's trying to weaponize.
Yeah, I mean, you see the specials coming out from Hello Fan Club. You mentioned the Vanilla Blaster. You just put that bubbler on tower, and you're good to go for however long it takes Facade to reach that bubbler. But I'm looking at the rest of the comps, or looking at the rest of the comp here. Snipe Rider, perfect. You've got the Viper, which is already can do very well in terms of poking players, but it also has that torpedo, which causes Facade to slow down and causes Hello Fan Club to get some more space with the tower. Henlo, they're going for a hammer swing, but ultimately misses. But so far, this is the comp, or at least the tower heavy comp you're looking for. Hello Fan Club, by the way, taking the lead here. Both teams now experiencing a bit of a skirmish right next to that plat area, but ultimately, Hello Fan Club still holding on to the tower for the time being.
Yeah, and now Synapse also making the jump there to at least get the trade with the Blaster. That's some critical offense trying to take advantage of their range going down as the Ultra Sam running into a bit of some issues there with the tower. The tower blocks the toss. Facade is able to at least get the stop. They're not able to get the second checkpoint, but it is lead nevertheless here on tower control. Now the tower is going to reset. Swizzy's going to see if they can get value with that 52, which Hello's peeking just a bit extra there. Swizzy is going to go down. It is going to be a 2-for-1 trade. By the way, there's Synapse throwing the Splat Bomb there as well, trying to see if they can find anybody else, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case so far, as it is going to be Happy and everybody else going down. 1-for-1 trade so far on both sides. Synapse gained a small bit of assist. We are kind of down to this neutral game here, and Facade just needs to look to gain some ground here soon, Nito.
Yeah. And then this is the kind of it might actually be the kind of neutral matchups we were looking for here. With Hello Fan Club, you have a lot of weapons that can that like to poke on the opposing player's team, like we see there. In fact, that wasn't much of a poke. That was a whole pick from Marauder. The Synapse there looking to clear on one more player. Below on the flat area does eventually go around the side, at least escapes that and actually gets away with the pick, courtesy of Happy. But Facade has another opportunity to get themselves up to that second checkpoint with two picks like that. It's certainly going to be a lot of help. But Facade finding themselves going down a few more players. Happy making good use of this blaster here as they continue to get the picks. If Marauder goes down, it might be another good pick from Happy, but Facade has enough to take the lead, just barely there.
Full-on aggression allows the lead change to happen, and it's only just the 2 points. It was just enough to clear the space they needed and get. Yes, you didn't even clear the second checkpoint. It doesn't really matter. You just got to get there by the end of it. So how do you get there? Full-on aggression and make sure you get those picks that you need to make sure that Hello Fan Club can't even move forward. And that's just great support there from Facade, especially as a team still working together as it stands. And there's a flag for the side. Confused, is literally confused and just wasn't ready for it. Marauder's having to retreat back. So now you're about 17 seconds in, and if I look at the weapons, okay, so they just need to find a decent hold. Zukas will likely be fired in, and they're gonna have to play this one a little bit from range. So they're gonna likely play very defensively here, try to weaponize as much range as they can. Triple ink strikes are gonna be used to kind of scatter Facade across the board. It's gonna be the range blaster going down. Overtime is gonna kick in. Cooler's been dished out. Henlo's trying to fire a few. It's gonna be a 2-for-2 trade. Someone needs to get to the tower there, and Henlo's realizing is starting to recognize it. They're trying to keep this tower sustained for as long as they can. Facade's like, all right, we've had enough of this. Everybody is already going down one by one, and Facade's going to be up on the board. 2-0 match point coming up.
I'm thinking about that, first of all, that finish, because that was what I think of when I see finishes like that is two runners just racing towards the finish line. We might as well just send it and see what happens. That was sending it and seeing what happens. But what I'm also thinking about is that flank on Confused if that didn't go well, what I saw was that Facade had none of their special charges. In fact, they weren't very close to having their special charge. So if that flank didn't work out, I think Henlo Fan Club comes in all guns blazing, and that overtime push may have very well given them the lead. But Facade, though, they all you need when you're a player like that is just the element of surprise, and that's all enough. Pretty much all you need. Facade understands that very well. That gets them to hold on to the lead.
The big thing that Hello Fan Club at least tried to do, and I love the idea that they tried was try to stagger this tower push a bit. Try to have one member in, then try to rotate back, try to make sure they don't lose the tower. But they just lost a lot of oomph, and that tower just goes a little too close within Facade to just jump right into it and call it a day. So again, valiant effort there from Henlo Fan Club, at least trying to recognize, all right, we did, of course, overtime stays alive if we are able to get control of that tower for as much as they could. But that's that. 2-0 lead. Match point coming up here for Facade. Umami Clams the next map coming up here, Nito. And I imagine Henlo Fan Club backs against the wall, just trying to at least stay alive in the winner's side at the very least. But they will have a second chance if they end up losing. But they're trying to avoid that.
Yeah, no, it's funny because the last time, or really as a GOM player, anytime you play in a double elimination bracket, the winner's bracket is something you try to hold on to for as long as you can, because you know that loser's bracket is so much more added pressure to a set that shouldn't have that much pressure. But just knowing that you you've lost your first chance, this is your second chance, that's it. That's all you have. And that's actually, I find that it does add a little bit more pressure as we see the comps on both sides. And really, there are no changes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Keon, but there are no changes here.
If there were changes, it's just the different variants there from both teams. Actually, it is going to be
right.
Facade is switching over to the CRB instead of the regular range blaster. Again, just kind of flexing over to another kit that's going to work better for Umami Clams. I don't blame that choice whatsoever. 52 gal on the hands of Synapse. Otherwise, just keeping the same three coming in from Henlo Fan Club. That's the big thing we're gonna keep eyes on is 52. If you switch over to 52 now in this map, can you get the value that you need? And of course, Kraken setups here for Facade. Not necessarily the Kraken jumps, just the spacing from the Kraken to help build the first push. But Facade's gonna have to wait just a bit longer as they go the full wipeout. Actually, could be the first push coming up here soon. Yes, it will be. Synapse throws in that power clam here, Nito.
Bit of a last stand there from the sniper on the side of Facade as Henlo Fan Club. Now a little scattered here. They didn't get much from that first push. They did get the super clam in, but ultimately that's going to be it for them. Cookie Paul there in a bit of trouble. Notice how quickly Happy is able to get to the response here as we see that wiper go down, the one causing trouble for Kogi in the first place. But as we look at these positioning here, Marauder and Synapse are ready for this push. They know it's coming for Facade. They have a few specials already popping out. They have a DC as well, and I believe that is going to be that's a restart because we're still above 3 minutes remaining, so we're gonna go ahead and call it there.
I usually don't like to infer if it's play on or not, but it looks like based on the fact that they called it means they're well within replay distance there. We did get to see the quick first push. They're able to take advantage as I think actually I'm not gonna even pay too much attention to that. So we get the replay for the last okay then. But either way, yeah, it was a one and done push, but both teams, what I felt like was very evenly matched across the board. Really just boiled down to is who wins out the trades that they need.
Yeah, no, I mean this. I almost don't want to say that's been the story of this whole set. I feel like there's a lot more to it than that. But the more if I sit back, look at this set from 10 feet away, and all I have is a screen and hopes and dreams, I want to say yes, that is pretty much just trades and see who gets the best out of him. I noticed it especially in game one with Mommy Zones. Toggle for
You're a little off there.
Tiny
little
bit,
off there.
Basically the same thing is what I've been seeing, especially in game one.
Yeah, so both teams just gonna resume back into the fray here. Gonna be so again, quick little restart there. One and done push. Okay, let's. It is what it is there, but it wasn't really a big lead that was broken at the end of the day. So, gonna be curious to see how both teams just get themselves resetted back here. Say that's a mulligan. Now, the big thing here for Henlo fan club is I would like to see if they can get, if the 52, as I noted before, if they can get as much value as they can with primarily just out of the main weapon, and then just gain the picks that they so desperately need. There, as we do get to see Henlo playing very aggressive, able to take out Happy there as well. This could actually legitimately be the same script. Once more, they're able to get the pick on the Kogi which they will, and it is, I believe, going to be the delayed wipe again. This is literally just total deja vu again, but this time it's going to be Henlo throwing that Ultra Slam, trying to see if they can find picks. And again, I believe that's actually Synapse there as well. It's going to be a better one, and it's going to be a better push this time. 1+2 this go around. Now it's a lot more in the basket here, Nito.
As the old adage goes, if at first you don't succeed, score a few more clams the next time. And it looks like Sentinel Fan Club has certainly done that. They're up to 53 remaining, so a bigger push than what they started with in the previous go-around. But Facade now has a few more picks. Actually, they don't have as many picks as they would have liked here, because they're actually going 2 players down for a second there. Facade now has, actually, I believe Henlo Fan Club has Facade's number. This is starting to look a little less tradey here, and I'm starting to look a little more like it's in the favor of Henlo Fan Club. But as I say that, it's still a trade fest right in front of Facade's clan basket. Neither team has a clear advantage here, but it looks like Henlo Fan Club is creeping slowly closer to that basket.
I like the idea that I saw, by the way, from the cooler. Just trying to throw an aggressive cooler, see if they can build up the space there. So another beautiful Ultra Stamp toss gets another pick. But this is going to be a retreat, I believe. I'm a little intrigued to see how this one's going to happen here. They're going to just try to jump back in, I'd imagine. Yes, they will. In fact, they built up so much space. Bubble Beam popped out here, trying to help protect this push. Once again, they break through the barrier. Now down to 47 points remaining here. They were out of the penalty points. Anywho, can they keep this push going here? It looks like Marauder, or what we believe is Len, was trying to find picks, but gets picked off themselves, and it is going to be 2 down on that side. They did at least get out of the penalty points and extend the lead a little further. Excuse me. Facade, again, it looks like Henlo Fan Club has their number here in this map.
I want to talk about that push for a second, because I think I know what they're doing there. So the Sniper Rider jumps back, and maybe this is intentional or not. They can correct me if they want, but Marauder goes back, charges the Bubbler, goes forward a little bit. Confused waits for that Bubbler to come out. The Bubbler comes out, and immediately they have a secure push with with the Super Clam. Which, if it was intentional, that was brilliant. If not, that's still brilliant, and I think it's even funnier if it's unintentional. So just say it's unintentional, and I think we'll agree from there. As we see Facade attempting a push, Pokeball tries to get themselves closer, but goes down. Henlo Fan Club holding on very well here. It almost looks like they're playing with a lot. I want to say a lot more confidence, just because they are at Facade's at match point, but Henlo Fan Club here showing a lot more dominance here, and at least some more solid dominance, as I like to call it.
It's solid dominance is a great way to phrase it too, and they look like they've been in very good control coming into this Umami Clams game. It's not the same Facade not the same Henlo Fan Club that we see here. As I believe that Power Clam, I thought it was going to be a jump, but no, it doesn't look like it. They're just going to retreat with the push. They do break through the penalty points by the end of that, and it will just be the barrier going back up here. But you know there too, Nito is. Yeah, this is a very different Henlo Fan Club, because Facade at least was able to keep things in range. Facade hasn't been able to score at all, even in the game where they had to go for the restart there a minute in further. So Henlo Fan Club has been playing with much urgency there, knowing that they've got to stay in the winner's bracket side of the fence. It's going to be a two for so trade. And this could be Henlo Fan Club still trying to push themselves up further, but they're going to have to retreat for now because they just went 3 down.
Yeah, they do eventually have to retreat because of Facade, who brings 2 power clams, by the way. They're already close enough to where they can get the lead, but do they have enough power clams to respond? Swizz is the only one who can respond, but they go down. Kogi falls out there. Actually, someone jumped over there. I'm not sure if they didn't get anything in, but Facade, that was very close and very dangerous for them. Now, at least, you mentioned Facade keeping things in range. Now they're within striking distance, and they have a power clam. So 10 seconds left. This game is almost certainly going to overtime, unless some freak accident happens here, which Henlo Fan Club can just send it and get themselves in the lead again. But here comes Facade with a Kraken. Is it enough to get themselves in there? And probably not enough actually happening. They're trying to get the Kraken jumps going, but they do have a few more power clamps to tow. That is enough for them. And Facade goes on to the next round of winners bracket. Gets themselves a push in the nick of time. Keon, I swear if this keeps happening, I'm gonna... I don't know. How do teams keep doing this?
That's the ultimate. That's the thing too. Is how do they keep doing this? Facade was on the back foot for at least 4 minutes of this game. The problem then starts to become Henlo Fan Club in a critical 3-down situation. Things go out of control, and it's honestly more credit to Facade being very opportunistic in identifying. All right, we've already taken 3 members out. We gotta go. Because we're already too far behind. They didn't get lead there. Now, there were some small clams, by the way, that were kind of near, but Swizzy really wasn't in the best position to get that. They're gonna go down either to Hello Fan Club or Hello Fan going to collapse on them. They got that power clamp that they needed for the OT push. Again, it was the same story. How opportunistic do you want to be in a 2-down situation? Facade's like, we have to. We don't have a choice. And, well, they built up the space they needed, and I think also the Kraken really helped with the spacing there, Nito.
No, for sure. I mean, the thing about Kraken pushes nowadays and Kraken cheese that it won't work as well. I mean, you do jump to the very place that Kraken was activated. But the good news is, with a team like Facade, it's able to mobilize and move very fast. You don't really need that. I mean, they're so persistent in this that we see Swizzy going, that's not enough. I mean, Happy is still alive. That Happy can get clams if that other player doesn't get enough to get the lead. So, I don't know. It seems like, I actually kind of see it. If I saw the replay right, Henlo Fan Club backs off just a little bit in that last push. And assumes that with that one pick, maybe they've got enough to keep on with. But Facade ultimately wins this set. 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0, and these are actually, honestly, Nito, this set was actually really pretty close from start to finish there, too. I know some people will look at the box scores. You know how we both as sports fans will look at this box score and say, oh, it's a 3-0 Facade. No, this was a close 3-0, Nito. It really boiled down to was critical moments, as we know there too. And honestly, it's more also on top of it, Facade was really opportunistic with the advantages they were going to have. Hello Fan Club maybe just trying to play a little reserve there from their play when they took advantage, but ultimately the last minute just fell apart on them. Hello Fan Club will have to redeem themselves in the lower brackets, and again, this is last chance qualifiers, so once you drop there, you got to make the run.
Nope. Yeah, that's there is no, and this is we also want to reiterate the fact there is only one qualifier that comes out of this, so you have to finish first. I mean, the previous 2 tournaments were top 3. That's fine, whatever, you go in. This one really is for all the marbles. But as we see there, Facade will be facing off against the #1 seed, which is interesting. And we maybe see where think about it. Henlo Fan Club.
Yep.
Henlo Fan Club is going to be facing off the winner of Simply Paradise and Distinct. Simply Paradise being another team that we saw earlier. But speaking of teams we've seen earlier, I believe we have that next matchup, or at least lined up.
Our next match is going to be lined up. Now, if we just saw Facade last time, why don't we just bring them back in here, and why not? But this time, new set of opponents this round. Yeah, it's going to be Type She with I believe I do recognize Trizzy and a few others, but this is Type She, which is, I believe, a collection of players from different teams. I believe Urza very recognizable as well. Gonna be excited to see how this group plays coming into this one. I believe also a European team, if I'm not mistaken, there too.
No, you're right. That is a European team, and that is probably some of the more well-known European names we'll see in this tournament. But we're also going up against Facade, and what I've seen from that last match is enough for me to think that, I don't know, Facade is definitely going to be bringing a fight to Type Shit. And I don't want to say, like, Type She. I'm probably going to say Type She, actually. Type. Yeah, we're going to type. Yeah, it's just Type. It's just Type. I promise I'm going to keep my job by the end of this block. But, and if I don't...
Well.
But, if anything, it's going to all start on Barnacle Zones. I don't know, Keon. I think I'm going to need more of your reads here. I think this is going to be another set that's And maybe this time the box score is enough to show us that this is a close set. I think it is. I think it's going to be close.
Close, and you know how I recycle. Let's recycle the same script I probably said before. I expect fast-paced and opportunistic play from both teams. Then this is ultimately the difference of what we're gonna see between one team to the other is how do you take advantage of the mistakes your opponents make, and we saw from Facade just earlier. Well, if we take you guys out, we're just gonna go and build, and we're gonna just go and push and make this happen. And that's what we saw right away. But they're going to be up against a very daunting opponent there, too, which I think it was the #1 seed. So that's going to be the more intriguing thing I'm gonna keep my eyes on. Is at least where my read is Facade's probably going to stick to the same comp archetype. If anything, just probably making a few flexes there with different kits depending on how the map plays out. So that's going to be the more intriguing thing there. As I believe we're going to have a live looking into Dapple Production, into our Dapple Productions. Shout out to them with ASC Tenshin, I believe a gravitational function being shown on screen. This is going to be interesting.
Oh, good. God, what does that mean? I haven't taken a math class since high school. What do you expect me to read? You know, thankfully, Pat and Skep are the ones focusing on how to pronounce that, and the players too. Apparently, UV minus V X battle. Okay, X battle I understand at least. Balance I obviously understand. But then we also have, like, I don't know, someone has said the quadratic formula against them. I'm not sure what any of that means, but you know, that again, that's Pat and Skep. That's what they're gonna have to worry about pronouncing. Ultimately, we're gonna keep to Type and Facade.
Yep, it is going to be Type and Type She and Facade. I'll say Type just to also be in line with you there. But yeah, by the way, this is best of 5, but we're entering counterpick territory here. We're going to start things off with Barnacle and Zones, and then I'll explain the counterpicks coming up here soon as both teams will be ready to go. Barnacle and Zones, you know it, you love it. It's Barnacle and Dime. What do you want to note here, Nito?
What I want to know here is how does this first set, what does it spell out for both comps? Because what I noticed is that, or at least what I've noticed from all of these sets have come up so far, is that there have been very minimal changes to their comps. It seems like I don't know, with the smaller map pool, it seems like these teams are starting to choose weapon comps that they can run just about anywhere. Make sure they can focus on the games themselves. Okay, try Ink Brush, hello. And actually, we see another change from Bazan. Now there's a Carbon Roller Deco. There's also a Bamboo from Type. So that's okay. I like the changes here. Never mind.
Bamboo. We're gonna let Type cook here, and maybe that Bamboo is something you just don't normally see see every day. Excuse me, from Redrum. So that's gonna be the fascinating thing how this plays out. Of course, you got your skirmishers and your range here with the brush and the range blaster. Though, well, we're gonna be a little concerned with how Type is gonna have to play this one because it's gonna be more focused on control of the map along with taking advantage of the picks that they can get. They were doing a good job a little earlier there, at least being able to get the zone. But Facade, the only change is that Carbon Roller deck. I'm going to be curious to see if they can get that as much as value as they can. They should be the lead here for Type, unbelievably, despite the 2 down.
Yeah, but it's not going to last too long. There's not that many penalty points for the side of Facade. They're going to be catching up very quickly here. What's worth noting is that Type is actually. I'm still working on it.
You're good.
I'm working on the pronunciation. Goodness gracious. Okay, Facade's taking the lead. Type's working on getting the zone back. I'm getting there.
You know what? I'll help you out here, Nito. With the trade of the zones that did play out, we have ultimately seen the way the zone's getting traded here is again both teams kind of just trying to play opportunities, trying to see if they can weaponize the weapons to their fullest strength. We do see that the lead 3, and Type is actually honestly doing a really good job right now. Again, you don't normally see with the way Type's comp kind of plays itself out. They're just having to rely on the cooler as well to allow this very fast skirmishy type game. They are gonna go 3 down. Yes, it will be the lead change here. Facade's still not able to catch the zone despite the three down. They kept them neutralized, but that was probably an extra 5 points on the board that Type got.
Not only that, there is Urza on the blaster. There is the only player in enemy territory who's got 3 players from Facade on him. that should be if there's 3 players down on any team, I feel like that's enough for Facade to go for the zone very quickly there. So that's that may be a missed opportunity. I'm not sure yet if that's going to come back to bite them, because this is from what I've seen from these sets, this is a situation that can turn south very quickly for Type, if anything. But Facade currently on the back foot here as Type gets a few more points on the board. At least they're popping the cooler, popping some more specials being popped. Actually, that only special being popped from Type as Facade takes control of the zone yet again. Is Zuka enough to get some more picks on the board? Maybe not, but it should be enough for them to get control of the zone here.
Everything's almost just happening at a torrent pace, just so it's super fast, as I know there too, because both teams understand. All right, we gotta fight across the map, take full advantage of what Barnacle throws at us, and see if we can punish them. This is gonna be the biggest opportunity Fazade's gonna have, because it's not just gonna be the lead; it's 2 members being fresh out of respawns there, and the Bamboo just finally returning back. So if they're able to keep this up for much longer, especially finding picks there, which Trizzy runs into a Zuka shot, is going to help matters, and it is going to be 20 points remaining. They are going to go 2 down by the end of it. Type Chi is still trying to find their way into the zone, trying to find the space that they need in order to at least force the neutral and then possibly the zone's cap. It is going to be 2 down. Is there enough pain on the zone? There will not. And Facade takes game 1 here in winners semis to start things off.
I want to talk about that match, but the best thing I can come up with is everything happens at some point, and the pace at which things happen is very inconsistent, because for a second there, Facade kind of lagged in getting back to zone, and then all of a sudden I was like, whoa, okay. But then all of a sudden they're in enemy territory. They've got the carbon roller all the way deep. It's all of a sudden things are changing from like 1 minute to the next, 1 second to the next, and I don't know what exactly goes on between those seconds, but Facade ultimately taking control of the game from, I believe, this push. Actually, this is the push where they just take control of this entire game, and all of a sudden Type has no response. They actually almost started here with the Urza pick, but even then Facade still held on.
And you know, they're just, you blink, it's almost like one of those classic, like, you blink and then all of a sudden the zone changes hands. You blink and the zone changes hands. It's the thing you're going to be expected to see, especially when we get closer to winners finals, is that teams are going to play opportunistic. Just, they're going to take as much advantage as they can with the amount of man down situations and the amount of paint they've put down on the map. And that's why we're seeing things just happen across the board. Is how do you weaponize the map to your fullest potential with the comp that you have at this stage? And that's what Facade was able to at least do. Things at least broke open for a bit with the amount of training we saw in the first 3 minutes, and then it's like, all right, Facade's like, all right, we've had enough of this. So we now go into counter pick stages. Now, I believe, if I am not mistaken, because we don't have Rainmaker, normally we would apply different counter pick rules for a certain thing. So you see that zones is here because we're running 3 modes. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you cannot pick the same map that you just won on. So that's why we are going to Mako zones for the second map here.
No, you're right. With the lower amount of modes, it's only the same map that you can't pick on if you won on it. So we're going to Mako zones for, at least that's the counter pick for Type. Now, from what I've seen for both teams, actually what I've seen right now is that both teams are ready to go. We're already at game 2, so I'm interested. Now I don't know what this implies, but I want to see what it implies. I mean, there's not many changes from the side of Facade. Actually, not many changes from both teams. I don't know. My theory may be proven right here. Maybe they're just all picking comps that work for this smaller map mode or smaller map pool that we see in usual tournaments. But that means you get the action faster, and that means both teams are a lot more prepared with what they already have.
It's the exact same idea. It's like, all right, how do we prepare for a map pool that only has 12 map mode combinations together? Well, let's pick the compositions that we can weaponize, or play the style that we can weaponize across the board. Now, especially with zones, if you can take advantage of the blaster, with the ledges and the range you can make make advantage of, that's going to be the important thing. Again, the painting still may still be staggered a bit. You're still having to rely heavily on the zap to help back you up on this one. So it's gonna be intriguing to see how type rebounds back, especially with this counter pick. But they're gonna go a 3 down, and it's just a sniper in the counter roller, which may be enough pain. Okay, that's definitely enough pain.
Wow.
The wipeout is there, and Facade's gonna get the zone here, Nito.
And it's only 2 players right now on the side of that zone, which which they are joined by their 2 teammates very quickly there. But with the problem with Bamboo compared to Sniper Rider is actually something I saw right there in that little skirmish there. You don't have the same, I call it magazine, that Sniper Rider has. You just have to keep tap shooting, which is something you might hear with along with charger mains, but you have to keep tap shooting there. But the only difference is that now Facade has control of the game here. I think it was that one push again that got them to control there. But ultimately, Suzy and Red Rum finding themselves in another fight again. Facade still holds on to control. Let's see how long it takes for them to maybe lose it or still keep it, actually, as they still continue to keep it, but not for long as Type kicks control.
So the win condition really is gonna have to boil down to is just neutralizing the paint, and then also having to deal with the carbon roller deco that the rest of Facade's dealing with, because you're gonna be up against a Sniper Rider and a vanilla shot. Both can at least put out a lot of pain there. 52 is gonna help support that as well. So there's a lot of things that Type She in this case is gonna have to deal with. Facade is recognizing the assignment the entire way through. It's like, all right, they're probably having to deal with skirmishes. They're trying to weaponize the range blaster, and then again, as you know, there too, Bamboo is gonna be a little bit behind painting wise from that sniper. So that's gonna be the big thing you're gonna have to deal with. But that's a nice little find there, sneaky there. But Happy's gonna get shut down. Trizzy's gonna be there, only able to get the 1. But again, Facade has a lot of control of the map. The way this game is playing out, and the Zuga just trying to see if they can find any miracle picks. Doesn't seem to land on any. But the brush again down from Trizzy, and Facade might be out of penalty points and could be leaning towards KO territory here, Nito.
No, now we're getting hit. We're hitting there very quick. But as we've seen, anything can change very quickly. This is Splatoon, and this is, from what we've seen from Facade sets, anything can change within a heartbeat. I feel like in the next 30 seconds, it would have been a Facade KO or a Type Sheet reverse, but Facade ultimately coming away with the KO there. No surprise there, as they seen them hold on to zone for so long that it almost seems like this KO was bound to happen. I don't normally say that, but it's bound to happen. It was bound to happen.
It's and there's a few trains of thoughts here, Nito. The more this set progresses too, is your comp is pretty much very skirmish, just very pick heavy here, and picking zones against a team that can dish out a lot of paint makes it a little bit more tougher. Effectively, just trying to see if you can win. You're effectively trying to take as much advantage with any sort of picks you can find. But Facade's was able to win out on a lot of these trades, and because of the paint output that they have, they're just going to assert control so quickly, especially with the Sniper and Azuka. You're having to respect what makes things also a little bit more trickier is that also enables Happy by proxy too with the carbon roller deco, because that gives a lot of paint for Happy to just swim around, then just catch the rest of Type by surprise. So that's why we see the KO kind of just plays out as it stands. It was almost a slow train marching on. So that's where we are. Another counter pick available for Type. Now they have to win it here in Umami Clams if they want to stay alive, at least on the winner's side of the fence. Facade looking for winners finals coming up here if they can take this one home.
They are one step away from winners finals, and with Clam Blitz Umami coming out and with type of comps Type was running, I'm not surprised. I mean, you want to have a player as sneaky as Happy was on that carbon roller deco, you give them more walls to work with, you give them more coverage to work with, and if Umami Clams is going to do it, then so be it, because I think this gives Happy some more lines, or not Happy, sorry, Trizzy. It gives Trizzy some more pass with them to sneak by. Of course, no changes from Facade, but Type She actually going out with the custom range.
Yep. So what we saw earlier, by the way, what we forgot to know is that Type has been running that double whale comp as well. So again, I feel like I've seen the idea that they were trying to trying to make count, but they're just not able to weaponize it. But with this flex over to the CRB is now you have the Kraken available to help build the space that they need. Facade quickly going 2 down, and now this is a lot of clams again. When you're going down 2 quickly here, you can get a push started in a flash. It's 3 down. It's already going to be the first push. This could be a lot more. They're using the Kraken. They're forcing a quick lockout and also keeping the timer alive just to assert as much control as they can of this basket. 4:20 left to go on the clock, and they cashed home 59 points. And this will be the end of the push. That's a great start from Type, but there's still plenty of map time to work with.
What the heck? I mean, I want to talk about the positioning there. We saw on stream that there was no players from Facade on screen for a few seconds there, as Type was getting a few more clams into the basket. That's how far Type had them up, and that's really interesting, especially on Umami Clams, a map that has so many avenues again for you to come through. That is very good stuff from Type if they're able to keep them back like that. But Facade still at least getting themselves back in slowly but surely. Kogi Ball at least trying to charge a tactical cooler, and they do. One going down on each side, 2 players going down total. 3 players going down on Facade. Okay, things changed very quickly there for Type as we actually see them go 3 down. It's going to be another one where we see lots of things happening at very fast paces, apparently.
Yeah, everything's gonna be happening faster because they're gonna try to look for ways to weaponize their advantages, and I know I sound like a broken record the more I keep saying it, but it continues to reign true. Both teams very experienced there, out here in the field here, of course. So that's why we're seeing things just blink, and you're gonna be blink, and you're gonna be like, wait, how did this push all of a sudden happen? It's exactly what you see here. It's the teams just playing to the point where they gotta take full advantage of and punch whatever they can find. It is going to be already a lot of members going down on this one, and there's a Kraken again. I think the Kraken's just there to just deter one of the members. It's just going to be a Kraken that helps build up a little bit of space for Type to work with. And what I'm seeing right away, Type still has a lot of decent control of the map. But if we want to flashback to the Hendel Fan Club versus Facade, this Facade can still strike within a matter's notice, so you don't want to put your foot off the gas pedal quite yet.
That's 2 players that went down on Facade's side, and that was like, there was only a brush there, but I believe that was partially on the Killer Whale. But Type is now in a position where I don't know, I feel like they're not playing with as much urgency. Maybe they do feel like all they need to do is wait for Facade to make the mistake here in a push. I think Type has been doing far better in this counter pick than the last. But we need to see how it works out as they actually lose. Facade losing 1 player. Facade loses 3 players. Just like that, there's still one more in the middle. It's the 52 gal, which goes down almost immediately. Urza going to challenge that. They snipe right on the side of Facade, but Type actually losing 1 player as well. So far, we haven't seen a push apart from the first one from Type, and that is, I don't know, I want to say that is somehow the only push we've seen all game, or at least the only objective push that we've seen all game.
This could very well be the case. The Facade's also rebounding there too, because with the same comp, you're putting out a lot of pain. You can get a lot of controlled map back there fast. So that was one of the things that Type's gonna have to deal with is if they're able to weaponize or take out some of their key painters, such as the sniper and the shot. That's gonna help a lot of cases. Facade, however, has a lot of clams in the tank right now. That clam economy is still ever growing here. They're trying to find a skirmish and take out the bamboo. Look out there, but the shot is gonna get traded. But it is gonna build up just enough space for Facade to work with here. Nito, it's about 40 seconds left to go. Facade has a lot of clams to work with, but they gotta find an opening.
And it's worth noting that I believe that's the farthest I've seen a player from Facade go in a while. I mean, there's not much purple paint on right next to that clam basket, but that can change very quickly here. In fact, it is going to change very Facade now has the opening there that they've been looking for this match. They've gone up to 71 remaining. Time will tell if they get a few more. Trizzy already weak with that power, with the Killer Whale, but the 52 was enough to seal that pick. Still a few more can poke Kogi in time. Yes, they do. They do have a few more players coming in. That's a whole power clam. It's not enough for the lead, but if they have a power clam or they have one clam to follow it up on it, they do not. And they still have the power clam in play, so this could go into overtime, but there's nobody nearby. If Swizzy goes down, there's nobody nearby to claim this power clam, and that is enough for Type to get one win in this set.
That Zuka, I was so afraid from type if that was gonna be it, because that Zuka got 2 picks from the side on top of the one that just went down, and that was open season for Facade to cash in on those clams they had available. But they just didn't have enough left. They were still finding members from type out of spawn, but it didn't amount to much. And I like the idea that they had with the power climb trying to jump that in, but it was only going to bring it down to 42. And by the time that jump landed, they already lost a lot of ground regardless. That facade push could have been stalled out the way it was playing. That got literally scary. I thought I was about to have deja vu from the previous matchup alone, but there will be no deja vu moment there, Nito. And it really all just started with just type getting that first push and just never looking back.
No, I mean, almost literally never looked back. In fact, the only time Facade got anywhere close to that basket was at the end there. So I find it very ironic that you say don't look back, because it's almost it's almost in a literal sense. Yeah, they didn't look back, you're right. But here comes, this is, again, this is the farthest I've seen Facade go up that whole set, I'll be honest. Impressive stuff from type, and Facade nearly pulls off the, like you said, I think that is another like copy paste of the script, because that's the same way Facade won their set against Henlo Fan Club, which is I was on the edge of my seat there. I was like, there's no way this happens again.
Well, I think all of us were very afraid of that too. It was like, will it happen a second time? Will Facade do the exact same thing they did to Henlo Fan Club and take them a 3-0? No, the set's gonna go a little longer. And hey, more credit to all of us there as Inkblot TCs here. Okay.
Yes!
At least this makes sense, because there is a very limited map pool. Now, I can kind of actually see how this could work out there in favor of Facade, but you expect the other team to be ready for it too with Inkblot TC. I'm gonna be curious to see if Facade can take this one home with a 3-1, especially with this counter pick.
I mean, if I'm Facade, I like Tower Inkblot, because I think it's one of the best maps if you're using pair-ups, and because of how easily you can take care of Plat, you can take care of Bats. You can, if you manage to get happy up there with, say, another shooter main like Swizzy or the Shot, then that alone is enough for type to constantly be on the back foot, something we hadn't seen from them in the previous match. So if you want to get back to that same position, it's going to be this one. But so far, it's actually Facade on the back foot as they go 2 players down, 3 players down. Can Trizzy get the wipe and close it out against Kogi Paul? Both players are going to have to back up just a little bit more. But type, already look at their positioning. They're already going so far up. Facade has yet to respond here.
Yeah, Facade has yet to respond, and again, this was one of the bigger problems. Is a strong opening push from Umami Clams, and it just went out of control the minute they're able to take the 3 down. This is gonna be the second checkpoint that is gonna get cleared. Happy just trying to throw out any defensive Trizuka shots that they can land, and they will not land whatsoever. This is still a lot of control for type to make this one count. They're able to take 2 members out, and the Kraken could find another pick, and this could go way out of control in a hurry here as the whale being dished out there. Trizzy still trying to play skirmish. It's 2 down, and there's a lot of staggers that are happening here, but Facade is gonna start this game off on a huge deficit as type starts things off with a very powerful opening push.
Facade, if you wait until overtime to get the lead here, I am gonna be so mad. But nah, I mean, this is type. What can I say? That's a huge opener for type, and just how well they were able to mobilize and how quickly they were able to mobilize too. Do you send that blaster and the brush up there, which seems to be a very deadly combination on that Bats area, right where Facade is, right about where Facade is right now? That is a very dangerous combination to play against. So Trizzy and a blaster, Trizzy and a blaster, that's going to be a combination to look out for throughout the rest of the set as type continues their hold on the tower. Facade has yet to score a point with 2 minutes in.
And if you're type, you can still relax a little bit. Now this is because this map is, of course, has to deal with a very tricky second checkpoint there that the other team has to come across. But of course, they're gonna be well trained and understand what they need to do in that scenario. So that's gonna be the big thing you're gonna need to keep an eye on is how does Type retain any advantages that they can have. And I know I've been talking about that, talking about retaining their advantages. They're just good. They're just taking full control of Facade's plat, and Facade is currently 2 down, and it's just gonna be the shot of the 52 gonna be coming out of respawns here. And this is gonna be the thing where Facade, they need to start clamping down here soon. You can't afford to keep playing defense for about 2.5+ minutes. But there is a Kraken that is popped, trying to zone out Happy. They're trying to prevent Happy from getting as much value with the Carbon Roller and the Zook as much as they could. They lose the Snipe Rider. Urza's gonna get a few picks of their own, and it is gonna be a 2-for-2 trade. The tower is gonna get lost, but Type is gonna be very happy with all this.
I mean, this is the exact same thing all over again. Type has this objective even further into enemy territory. Facade has yet to cross that middle line. Just imaginary for the map. So, I don't know. This is the same script. Does Facade pull off another overtime push? We'll find out soon. There's only a minute 40 left, so we don't even know if it's going to be an overtime yet. But Type is holding on to things so well that Facade's counter pick is starting to look like it's actually working against him. I mean, Type has been able to run things for pretty much a majority of this set, with Facade not being able to find a point, possibly until now, if they can get themselves back on tower. But it's not going to happen anytime soon. We still have a few players going down on the side of Facade.
Minute and 11 left to go on the clock, and this has been all Type's games here so far. Type She has taken a lot, has asserted so much control of this game. The way this has played out, Facade is going 3 down right away for the way this game is going. A delayed wipeout too, losing so many fights across the tower, and left, right, and center here. So now, don't be surprised if Type is just going to try to push this tower up, just to make things a little bit more difficult for Facade to rebound from. But you also have to understand how much aggression do you really want to dish out at that point in time. Swayze's going to get shut down. That's a long that range blaster is just putting in work. Facade is going to get points on the board, but they're having that with 34 seconds left. They're realizing this is our time to go now.
I'm scared. This is them holding the tower, and there's 30 seconds left. So if this goes into overtime, to be so scared. But that's a well-placed bomb by Ellis there with the zap, who does a great job with the bomb pick there. Still though, Facade had the cooler with them, so that means those players are going to come back very quickly. They're having a very sticky situation there. Does get the pick, but now it's up to Facade and seeing how they take advantage of this. They have the players and they have the synergy necessary, but do they have enough to win this match? We're going to find out very soon. It's only Happy on the tower, but it's not enough. Type takes this to Game 5.
Welcome to reverse sweep territory for those tuning in. Type is looking for a reverse sweep against Facade coming up here, and we are going to Game 5. And if you are keeping track of the win-loss column for the amount of times the team counterpicks Inkblot TC, you're gonna need to add that to the loss column again, because that counterpick for Inkblot TC backfires on Facade. Because I think, Nito, the best way to really sum up this game is Type had a strong opening push, and Facade had a lot of problems getting the engine started until the last minute happened.
Not only that, they're trying to start the they're trying to get a jump on the battery. They're trying to make sure okay, I hear the engine running, but the electrics aren't working, so now we gotta do this. Now we gotta do that. Now the tire is flat. It seems like Type is finding all these little ways to keep Facade so far back that when it comes time for overtime, that's when Facade gets the car running, but that's when Type's already at the destination. So Facade's like, all right, well, if we get this push in time, and great. If we manage to get this push all the way in, great, but Type's is already so far ahead that they're going to make it extremely difficult, knowing that they just have to sit back, relax, and wait for Facade to make a move.
It's gonna be, and that was the thing too. Is that yeah, Type just got everything rolling from minute 1, and again, just waiting until OT. Usually not a sustainable strategy. You can now go to Hagglefish TC, rewrite the script here. The second checkpoint is still very difficult to come across. They're trying their luck again with another TC map, but this time it's a map that doesn't get memed on when it comes to counter picks. So that's gonna be the one intriguing thing here, because both teams, I believe, have stuck to their same comps the entire way through. I'd imagine both teams are going to be like, all right, we got to figure out how to weaponize Hagglefish TC to our advantage.
If I'm Facade, I keep the same comp. I mean, that's no surprise, but Why would you make a change here? This is if you could take advantage of these pair ups that you can use with Happy or the two shooter mains, that's all you need to keep things. And actually, we see. Whoa. Okay,
Oh.
hold on. There's a vanilla splash now, and there's actually the gold Nautilus. That one with triple splashdown. So Facade clearly has something in mind going for TC Hagglefish. They're going to make these big changes to a comp that hasn't seen that many changes.
So I actually like the splash pick. That's actually like that is one of the more common choices you will see in Hagglefish, and for good reason. It has a lot of range coverage. Heavy rolls over redrum. Add that to the list. But yeah, no, the splash is gonna be the intriguing thing. Same with the Nautilus with the triple splashdown. They have something in mind for Hagglefish TC. So far, it is the first few points are on the board, but ultimately that will change hands. So that's gonna be the thing that we're gonna need to keep an eye on is how does Facade make this comp work? As the tower is gonna be resetting the back to mid. I'm gonna be curious to see how this plays out.
I mean, the way it's playing out right now, Facade already 3 players down on us, or already got a triple on for type, and I don't know. Look at how far up. One of them's not even on the screen. There was Swizzy that wasn't on the screen. They're so far up that we have yet to like cover them. But Facade clearly has something in mind. There's a triple again. Type Facade. Is this the same script? Is this whole set been the same script? You're waiting until now to make another big push. I mean, this is. Gosh, this is every game has been a microcosm for the set, and I swear if they get the lead, if they get the KO here, maybe they're not actually because he got players down. But my goodness.
Well, okay, so they looked at Type's push, and they're like, okay, how can we do the exact same thing? Let's just run a frontline Nautilus with a triple splashdown, and then just use that to zone out Type. And now Type is gonna be the one that's having to play catch up here. Now they have been able to get picks until that very moment where they go through a staggered 3 down. That's gonna be now they gotta figure out how do you solve the riddle of the gold knot, and then how do you make sure the splash doesn't farm up crab tanks for days. Because Type has their work cut out for them. They're having to deal with 20 points remain. More importantly, the second checkpoint cleared all right for Facade. That's going to be the intriguing thing that Type's going to have to deal with. They're still losing members left and right, though, and that's also problematic here, Nito.
No, you're right. I mean, this look at how far Swizzy is already. I think Swizzy knows that they can win. They're winning fights by themselves. I know there's a lot of confidence with that 52, but Facade knows that they just need to keep Type staggered, but Type is now the ones keeping Facade staggered. They do see that power. They do see the 52 and what kind of threat that 52 can pose. I'm wondering how that 52 is still up top on the right side there. I think they know that at some point they're gonna have to play. They're gonna have to pose a threat with those killer whales. That should help a bit. Actually, for Type still pushing it a little. Trizzy, Facade's gonna need to watch out for Trizzy. Trizzy can be very dangerous here, but Facade for now pushing the tower back slowly but surely.
Nito, this was the case where they needed to invest Trizzy into that Nautilus, try to slow that Nautilus down earlier, because that Nautilus was all eyes on Trizzy to make sure that Trizzy is kept contained. So while that was all happening, Type was hoping that they can throw in a little bit of a redirect there, and then have the rest of Facade deal with Type on the other side. And they were able to do that successfully. Only 40 points remain there, Nito. This could be a photo finish, but this time Facade doesn't have to wait until OT. Type is gonna have to be the one that has to figure out has to be the one to solve the riddle now.
No, they absolutely do. There's a minute 30 left, and with the way Type has been playing this whole set, with keeping Facade on the back for pretty much the majority of the games they played in, this is a whole different look for Type, who are now on the back foot. They're the ones actually not in the lead. And as we see Facade, how well they're able to poke around, especially with that Nautilus doing so well. Swizzy, though, notice the route they picked. They weren't going to try to go for that left path here. Going up there allows them to be a little bit more sneaky, funny enough. But as it turns out, Type is going to continue their pull. Actually, not. They're not. Yes, they are going to continue their push. But it's still being made difficult by the fact that Facade is still keeping them at bay. Even without getting picks, it seems like Facade is able to keep Type on their toes and just overall cause chaos for him. 2 players already down.
Yeah, 2 players already down. Type has to get all the members alive just to have a semblance of a sustained push. You now have to start dealing with specials such as a crab tank waiting in the wings. They're gonna likely save that for later. So you have to find the pick onto the splash. There's 2 members down, and they do get the direct shot into Happy. That crab tank now has to be farmed up back at spawn. Okay, correction. They had the cooler earlier. I missed that part. That's all gonna be okay. 10 seconds left to go on the clock, but they have the crab tank that is going to be available. They're going to need to find the picks. Trizzy's down on the skirmish. It is only going to be 3 members up. Happy's going to throw out that crab tank, throw everything into the kitchen sink, and that crab tank is going to do it. And Facade prevents a reverse sweep from happening. They move on to winners finals, and Type She, in this case, going to have to run it back in loser's bracket if they want to have a chance.
Facade is the reason we as commentators cannot lose focus of a game, because if at any point during this entire set we lose focus, we miss out on the fact that Facade is already up 20 remaining in this first push. Complete flip of the script when it comes to matches against Type, but we lose sight of everything that happens between now and then. I mean, this is going to be... One thing I really liked about Facade in this matchup is how well they use Swizzy here, and how well they use the coolers, or how well Swizzy used the cooler. You mentioned that one pick, or not Swizzy's. How well this entire team actually uses the coolers, because Happy goes down at one point trying to take a fight against the Blaster, comes back anyway, it has Crab. That pick almost doesn't mean much in the long run, because now they already have the Crab. That's all you need. We steal the game.
Yeah, I saw what Facade was trying to do there from start to finish, especially with the specialist. That this crab tank is gonna be the thing that we're gonna need in order to prevent Type from trying to run it back against us. That was smart, honestly, from Facade, just trying to keep that crab tank available when they desperately need it. I thought they didn't actually pick up the cooler there, so that was my bad on the call. But with everything just kind of transpiring the way it did, Facade did not need to wait into overtime. They decided to just do it in the first minute and a half to wrap up that set. So Facade 3 to the finish prevents the reverse sweep. They move on to winners finals, and that will be Type She going down to the losers bracket. We will actually cut to break here in just a few moments. As the other set is still in progress, and that is ASC Tenshi and the team named John Lennon. Happening on Dapples, I believe, right at this stage. So while we are getting ourselves all situated and Danny figures, yeah, we got ourselves our live look in here as we are about to be midway through Game 3. Thank you so much here, joining our producer for this one. But for now, Nito and I are going to give ourselves a break as we casted some really strong games. When we come back from the break, we will have another set ready for you guys. So don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss a thing in 20XX Last Chance Qualifiers. Welcome back, everybody, to the 20XX last chance qualifiers. Here, we've had a long break. I hope you guys enjoyed that long break for what it's worth. But we are going to be switching over to the loser side of the losers bracket, or lower bracket side of the fence, if you will. I'm still Kyo. Nito is still here, and we got ourselves a very intriguing set, to put it lightly.
Duck Motif versus Oka Ballestra. Both of these, actually, Duck Motif, funny enough, is the second seed, finding themselves in losers bracket. And things, I like to say, it is what it is. But ultimately, Duck Motif cruising out of a 2-1 set against what's a Joomph? Whatever Joomph is, I don't know. I don't really know what that is. But the Orca Ballestra winning 2-1 against. Gosh. F equals GMM over R squared, which is Sir Isaac Newton's universal law of gravitation.
Before we even cut through, we were just like, all right, you were afraid of casting that one because of gravitational force, but that's not our point. But anyways, we'll talk about gravitational force later. Duck Motif versus Orca Ballestra is going to be our matchup. Again, we are switching back over to best of threes in the lower bracket side of the fence. Now, quick history here, as the first map is going to be Umami Zones. Duck Motif has had 2 attempts in the previous 2 qualifiers to qualify for 20XX, and missed out on both attempts. This is their only attempt left, and once more they find themselves in losers bracket. A lot of pressure for this group that if they want to make it to 20XX, because they got to do the run back.
Yep, and this is, like you said, a lot of pressure, and this is, with loser bracket, I mentioned this earlier, there's a lot more pressure on these teams to compete and do better, because you're already on the back foot here. You're already 1 loss down, the next loss, your Saturday is over, so hopefully you can find a scrape together another win here, and the winner of this set will be facing off against Type C, so there's definitely something to look out for. That's actually the first and second seeds in the losers bracket, by the way, which should tell you about how interesting these last few sets have been. But so far, we are looking at this next set, which is going to be starting on Splat Zones and Mommy. It's actually starting fairly quickly here.
Yeah, Mommy Zones is gonna be the queue up here. Duck Motif, of course, on Alpha. Orca Ballestra on the Bravo side, which, by the way, features Shiny. You might recognize Shiny across the board. We take a look at the weapons here. I was about to say that's a double splash comp. No, it's a splash and a sploosh combined together. But what doesn't change is Orca Ballestra is out here with double crab.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. And actually, I'm starting to see a lot more sploosh and comp, which at some point I remember, and I know very well, it was considered a meme weapon. But now it's starting to see a lot more usage, and I think it's deservedly so because of how well that is I like to call it the send it weapon. You just send it with this weapon because it's so easy for you to just get a few pictures. And when you have the element of surprise on your side, it's perfect. So why not? Duck Motif currently has the only points in the game, but they have yet to retake control of the zone. Both teams going 2 players down, but it's still Duck Motif zones here.
Duck Motif taking advantage of that 3 down from Orca Ballestra, and Orca Ballestra still fighting very strong. Right then and there, it is going to be, as there are going to be a lot of trades happening across the board. Orca Ballestra is actually holding their own. They're forcing the penalty points onto Duck Motif. It is going to be the 52, by the way, going down on top of it, and it's going to be Light, actually, able to get a few more, and Duck Motif is going to have to retreat back just a bit. Orca Ballestra now playing very aggressive. Shiny's going to go down to Vexen. Vexen looking for the double there, but it's going to be jump scared by the Ultra Sip. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade, but Orca Ballestra has the lead.
Indeed, Orca Ballestra. With only 1 player, they have enough to maintain control for now, but you can expect Duck Motif to come back with everything that they have. They have a Sniper Rider, so you can expect that Sniper Rider to both charge there, try to get control of that right zone, or at least their right zone, and at least try to get a cooler with that as well. But Shiny able to hold their own. There's 1 player going down, 2 players going down for Duck Motif. Can we see a third? It's going to be very close here, but Shiny should be able to make it happen. In fact, Orca Ballestra actually going 2 players down. Kira there making a move on Shiny, but someone actually, I believe it's still Shiny, gets the pick on that. Orca Ballestra still holding on to control. Lanky trying to go around the side here and see if they can sneak by a pick or so, but Duck Motif currently contesting both zones, has at least 1 zone, Didn't get the other though. Get the back on the board.
Duck Motif in a big deficit here early, but at least able to win out a lot of those crucial moments there, as we did see Shiny from earlier. By the using the crab tank, kind of lobbing shots across the board to make sure that those other zones is neutralized. As we do see the Zuka from Vexen actually misses entirely. That's a little unfortunate, and if it will get Orca Ballista the chance to contest back, which they will which it will do, not easily do, they will do, and it will be Kara going down on top of it. And now the big thing if you're Duck Motif, you're having to deal with a lot of painting, by the way, from Orca Balestra. They're gonna be taking down some of these penalty points. Yes, you have the sniper and the shot, but a lot of these members are going down fast, and Orca Balestra is just catching them off guard here for a bit here, Nito.
For a bit, we're going to see how long it lasts, because Orca Ballestra is going to need all of these disadvantages they can get, especially if we want to send a player like what Light's doing up here with the Sploosh, doing so well actually to keep Duck Motif on their toes, keep them looking for that Sploosh-o-matic. With that Sploosh now having these Ultra Stamp there, gets popped actually. There's still a few more players left for Duck Motif, but Orca Ballestra should be able to retake control of this zone. Not much left for Duck Motif to contest with, as Orca Ballestra takes game 1.
So here's the other note. This is the best of 3, and Duck Motif is staring at the barrel of missing out on 20XX. If they lose this one, the Ducks might be hunted here soon, as Orca Ballestra just played on a whole nother level effectively. And the double crab comp, I believe, just gave Duck Motif so many fits as well. You will also call out Light here for just some great Ultra Stamp usage, but Orca Ballestra had a decent stranglehold of this game.
No, for sure. I mean, it seems like Orca Ballestra, Duck Motif was able to get a decent push at the beginning here, up to 66 remaining. But from here on, I believe it's just Orca Ballestra from here on until then. I mean, at some point, Orca Ballestra gets the push they need, but it looks like things were starting off very well for Duck Motif, but I think Orca Ballestra is so quick to find the flow, or find a flow and find a ways to win these little matchups against Duck Motif, to where it worked out so well for them in the end. I mean, this one push... I mean, actually, no, it's this push here, in which case, this is... I mean, look, from here on, Duck Motif doesn't get past middle.
Yeah, the Ducks were having a hard time getting into middle for a good chunk of it, and now they have to run it back 2 more maps if they want to keep their 20x6 league hopes alive, and it has to happen on Museum Clams. And this is also another map that could be very conducive to more crab shenanigans, but that's only if Orca Ballestra wants to make that one count. Match point, by the way, coming up for Orca Ballestra, and I believe I have to remember to say, yeah, Type She waiting for the winner of this one, and this could be fascinating to watch here. Okay, now this time for Duck Motif, they have to just dish out different choices. So does Orca Ballestra. Gonna be intrigued to see how this works out.
Okay, so Light is still playing this role of, like, skirmisher, making sure we can get Duck Motif chasing, and funny enough, on a wild goose chase for this one skirmisher. So I can see why Light switches to this Wiper here, making sure they can remain this, like, skirmisher player that can still absolutely win a fight. But now Duck Motif actually has these Vanilla Squeezer, and most notably the Neo Splash. Neo Splash has been coming up in comp recently as a tri-strike spam type weapon that can also fend for itself. We know how well the Splash-O-Matic can do in fights, but all these picks are going to mean that we're going to see, I think, another fast-paced matchup, another matchup which is decided by how fast the team is going to take advantage of an objective. So, speaking of which, Orca Ballestra are already making their way up towards the opposing spinner. Still a few picks on the board, but nothing solid here yet.
Yeah, nothing quite solid and set up yet here. And the thing that Orca Ballestra is still dishing out, just like the previous map, is that double crab as well, I believe. Yeah, the heavy edit with the crab and the vanilla splash. So that's gonna be the big. So Orca Ballestra is still trying to weaponize that's set up to its fullest potential. But Duck Motif is like, no, forget that idea. We're not allowing you to do that. They're gonna get the first push of the game here. It's gonna be the first one going in here soon. But now is there going to be any follow-up there? Duck Motif does have a lot of members surrounding them. They will throw in one extra clam, and it looks like Kara's going to have the rest of them throwing it within very safe range, but I believe going down to a stray shot there. It is just going to be the 1+2 push, but it is points on the board here, Nito.
Yeah, it's a good start for Duck Motif, especially with a comp we've been struggling a little bit against from Orca Ballestra, but now with Orca Ballestra on the back foot here, I want to see how long it takes for them to come up with a response. I mean, you do have, again, a pretty fast comp with how fast actually they were playing in that previous match on Umami, on Umami Clan. No, Umami
Zones.
with how fast they were playing there. I almost want to say they're going to try to see the same thing here, but it still seems like Orca Ballestra is a little playing it a little cautious here.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I think that I feel like this is a classic case of them trying to build out their special, then try to take full advantage of it. But again, another wipeout on the board. That will be 4 cash in on more points. Down to 67 points remaining. There is just going to be 4 clams on the board, and they're going to go down to a bomb. So it's just going to be the 1 power clam cashed in. Again, all these small pushes, at least they're getting points on the board here, Nito, but they're also giving Orca Ballestra a free clam to work with each time. But the question is Orca Ballestra going to take advantage? And that's still going to be the key thing I need to keep an eye on here, Nito, because yeah, they got 2 special available, but Orca Ballestra is getting caught just left, right, and maybe a little bit of center here. But if Duck Motif keeps his pace up, they may still have an advantage.
It's going to be tough, though. I mean, you have people scattered across the map here. In fact, Lanky and Shiny are the ones pairing up here. See how long that pair lasts. This cat is kind of there on the Snipe Rider, getting a very quick pick there from Orca Ballestra. I'm actually being proven very wrong here. I thought this was going to be I said it was going to be a fast-paced match. So far, it's been since that one push from Duck Motif, it's been a game of neutral battles.
Nice.
It's been a game of trading picks. A nice pick there from Light on the Wiper, but so far nothing big, no big pushes we've seen. It's actually quite a big change from what we've seen on stream here during our comm block.
Yeah, it's been very different across the board here. But as we are going to see the first push right away, Nito, this is going to be the lead if it wasn't for the pick. If it wasn't for the pick, but they will get the second one, and the lead has changed hands. Orca Ballestra is wiped out, but they will swipe lead. But Duck Motif will have 1 power clam. And they may be able to get the lead back. That was a quick push.
All right, okay, here we go. Changing the script here. Never mind. We are going to go a little faster here, says Orca Ballestra, as they get themselves up to 60 remaining. Duck Motif saying the same. They're actually already near that enemy spinner, so this is going to be a huge push if Duck Motif can pull it off. But it's still very murky here for Duck Motif. They have yet to get this push off the ground here. But they do have 2 picks online here. And I have another one with that stamp going down. It might have another one. If that head, it will give. But it doesn't give. Still a few more picks needed for Duck Motif to get this off the ground. Femi having to back up because there's a lot of pressure on Femi. There is 1 power clam. They've already got the lead with that one. This one will surely do them in. There's 37 remaining. A few more power clams at 28 remaining. 20 seconds to go. And now Orca Ballestra will be finding themselves in game 9 if they can't respond, possibly in overtime here.
Yeah, we got to fast forward from game 3 over to game 9 territory here if it ends up happening. But they got 9 seconds left. They do have 2 power clams. So here's the thing, though. Throwing 2 power clams, they will only still put them in that deficit. So all that Duck Motif needs to do is just hold the line and try to deny the clams as much as they can. And this might actually be just enough spacing for them to make this one count there. Overtime slowly ticking through. The opening needs to be there right then and there, but the splash going down is going to slow that one just a tiny bit more. They are trying to throw in a sneak, but they're again, Duck Motif holds the line really well. They're able to shut down everybody. Now they can just collapse on the rest of the members, and Duck Motif forces game 3 with 20XX hopes on the line on both teams now.
Well, that was a very fast last minute of the game here, because all of a sudden there is pushback from both sides, and now Duck Motif actually solidifying their lead there at the end was just enough for them to actually increase on that lead very much so. But I don't know, I like the mobilization that I saw from Duck Motif there. It's almost like they stumbled a bit through this beginning here. Obviously Orca Ballestra doing a very good job of protecting against this one push that Duck Motif had, but after that Orca Ballestra, and in fact this is the point where things start to turn around for Duck Motif. Orca Ballestra getting a huge advantage, at least getting a huge opening here, and they actually get the lead here, but they get a few crucial stops, and this is where Duck Motif starts to ramp things up, I believe. This is where, after this is the huge push, and all of a sudden it's overtime. Orca Ballestra has nothing to respond with here.
Yeah, that was a tricky thing too. Is that Orca Ballestra needed way more than just the 2, and then tried to help sustain the push. They found openings there, but Duck Motif opted to relax and just try to hold the defensive line before hitting mid, and that's what sealed it for Duck Motif. And now both teams facing 20XX League hopes being dashed, whatever phrase you want to use it here, as we're about to queue into the last map. I may need a quick look at the map there once more, but I think we're just going to queue into it. So we'll figure it out once we get there. There it is, Hagelfish Tower Control on that side. This has to work out well. I would not be shocked, Nito, if we see double crab again from Orca Balestra, but at the same time, for Duck Motif's like, all right, it worked for the second map, so let's just run it back. And yes, same comp. The only difference here is light is on the T-Tac.
Well, if you want to move up and you want to go fast, those trip strikes are certainly going to help out, because that means you get to take more advantage of this of a special that can already paint very well for itself. But not only that, you get the time when that special get more control over timing, and you get more control over positioning as well. So it's certainly going to be a lot of help if Orca Ballesta can put it to good use. But Duck Motif already taking 2 players out of Orca Ballesta, but Duck Motif also going down 2 players. Orca Ballesta. Both, this is going to be a trade-off in the middle here. The Orca Ballesta, though, losing this trade-off for now. They've got 1 point on the board, but that lead won't last as Duck Motif starts to get players up and running here.
Yeah, players now up and running. They are trying to set up for Orca Balestra space to make this one count. Now they threw out the cooler as well. This should be the first checkpoint here. Now Orca Balestra, look for the crab utilization to be key here at this critical juncture. But they are going to lose the splash. They lose 1/2 of the crab solution here, as it is going to be just a 60 points remaining. Approaching the tricky second checkpoint, and Duck Motif is pretty much within territory to pressure Orca Balestra. Vexen still lurking for the right hand side. There is a lot of respect that Orca Balestra is dishing to them out right now, and again, Shiny Believe going down on top of it. It's 3 members down. Duck Motif are looking to stay alive.
Oh my goodness, that's why you take extra precaution around that splash wall, because those bombs can be very deadly when used on that splash wall. Already 2 players down, like you said, on Orca Ballesta. Duck Motif looking to be in a very good spot here. Not for long though. Orca Ballesta already has 3 players down. That's a delayed wipe for Duck Motif. That Sniper Rider being forced to be pushed back just a little bit further. But what can be said about that push from Duck Motif? Everything just getting themselves, everything being put in the right place. Duck Motif being very effective with their special usage and being very intentional with that special usage, got themselves enough authority to get that lead.
Yeah, and now a duel that just happened there, which again, Duck Motif losing that one. They will catch the 52 by surprise. Vexen is within range, and it forces members back, and the Zuka is fired within the tower distance, and that's just one of those moments where we're like, all right, well, there went that idea. So Orca Balestra having to retreat once more. They're now gonna have to get a push kickstarted again. There. So Duck Motif holding the line once more. Triple ink strikes being dished out, kind of scattering across the wind, trying to disperse Orca Balestra by just a bit. 4 is just trying to run amok to no success so far. Had to retreat. Vexen's down once again. Light gets the pick here. And Nita, we're about 2 minutes and 20 seconds into this game. We are seeing this game turn into a neutral fight, left and right here, but it's only going to favor Duck Motif. Orca Balestra may have a stronghold, but they got to still find some value out of some of the picks.
Not only that, they're going to have to worry about Duck Motif already up to specials, and they're really close to having all 4 of them online at one point. But Duck Motif ultimately losing a few players in the little skirmish there, right on the left side of this, and what was Duck Motif's left side of the map. But Orca Ballesta now getting a few more, actually losing a few players here. They still have the Trizuka. I wonder where they're going to use that and when. But here comes 2 specials. That Hula already came out. 3 specials now start to come online. They're actually all starting to come out, but they lose 1 player. They actually lose 2. Orca Ballesta goes down 1 player, but Orca Ballesta holds the numbers advantage for now. 1 minute and 30 to go as Orca Ballesta looks to keep their 20x hopes alive. Duck Motif looking to seal the deal within these last 80 seconds of the match, but Orca Ballesta is still trying to crawl this tower forward as they have 3 players up. Duck Motif currently 2 players up.
Yeah, both teams now 2 players up. We do see Orca Ballesta planting the crab down, trying to see if they can force a little bit of pressure away from Duck Motif, having Duck Motif to escape away here, as they are going to clear out that first checkpoint at the very least. Now, the other thing that both teams have, they'll have trip strikes available, so they are going to have to force them out each go around. 2 members are going to be down. They have to leave the tower at that stage of the game. It's going to be a 2-for-2 trade here for Duck Motif is having to quickly respond. 4 is going to get caught. That's the Neo splash down as well. Crab grab his back up once again. They got 40 seconds left to go on the clock. We do see Shiny and Femi now crawling around this tower, trying to see if they can keep this push alive, as the Squeezer, by the way, also going down on top of it. Shiny is still outputting a lot of pain with this Crab Tank as they're approaching the second checkpoint. Kai is still trying to fire shots. They do throw up. All the bombs are coming out there. That's the second checkpoint. Could they get the lead? There is Double Team. They hold the line with 3 members going down all at once. Kai is the one holding the tower. The last breath there for Orca Balestra trying to stay alive with this one, but Double Team clamping down when they need to. 7 seconds left to go on the clock. The trip strikes have to be dished out. Shiny's down once again. They do take the tower. Now we're going to be approaching overtime, but 2 members have gone down. No one's going to be around the tower anymore. The Ducks will stay alive. The Dogs will laugh with them. Duck Motif moves on to the next round here, Nito.
It's all ducks, no orcas in this lake, as Duck Motif takes Game 3 and moves on to face Type Shi in the next map of losers bracket. But wow, I mean, Duck Motif, I really like how they played here. I mean, this is it's very nice to see teams that coordinate and work so well with one another. I mean, it looks like from here on, Duck Motif knows how to execute this defense here. In fact, they just send the Sniper Rider up there. They know that Sniper Rider can do so well. Maybe this is planned out. Maybe this isn't planned out. If you have that Sniper Rider going in, that's really funny to think about. But goodness, Orca Ballista are doing so well. And of course, that double with the bomb at the splash wall. Just so much coming into play here. So much falling in place for Orca Ballista here. Or I'm sorry, for Duck Motif here.
Yeah, I knew the exhaustion was gonna kick in, so we'll try to sign us off here soon. Nito, don't you worry. But yeah, that was so excellently played. A lot of fear if the Ducks were cursed again, but the Ducks will stay alive. But they got their toughest assignment yet with Type Shi dropping to lower brackets. Who knew leading up to this one how Type Shi and Duck Motif had to crawl back from losers bracket to try to run this one back. They Hendo Fan Club, ASC Tenchi waiting on winners on the lower bracket side of the fence. So that's what we're set up here in lower brackets. Of course, I believe Facade also sweeping out ASC Tenchi from that result, of course. So that sets up 20xx Last Chance qualifiers, but that wraps up IPL coverage. We're gonna send it over to Dapples here in just a bit, but before we do, Nito, it was great working with you as always. Nito, plug yourself. Where can the people find you once the cameras are alive?
So this little tag right below here is going to be where you find me on Twitter and on Twitch, Blue Sky. And if you want to find me, actually, so do you see that bed right behind me? I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all.
My day started at 4 a.m.
We'll let you go to sleep. You guys can find me, Kion2570, Twitter, Blue Sky, of course, for the nonsense. Twitch, I'm taking a break from streaming for the month, so I'll see you guys back after Riptide. If you guys are going there, I hope to see you there too. That's going to be it. We're going to get the heck out of Dodge because we're both pretty tired, I'd imagine. So, will see you guys later. 20xx Last Chance qualifier coverage resumes on in Dapple Productions, but with Nito and our producer, Jorian. My name is Kion saying have a good rest of your day. We will see you guys next time, and stay tuned for the raid, as we'll send you guys to Dapple Productions for the remainder of this tournament.
Honk me.